Zabba-doo-da, hey. Oh, hey, there you are. Thanks for stopping by. Happy day to you. We're going to take a look today at the sideways org chart, right? The hopefully a very easy to grasp and put your hands around, drives better questions kind of org chart that over a decade of helping businesses take and break apart the monolith that had become their ever-growing org chart and expanding their toolkit so that it's no longer limited to rectangles and dotted lines and solid lines, right? And helping bring a useful game and laying it out like a useful game board, one that you can like put your finger on, and it should make a lot of sense. It should feel very practical and useful. And whether you're adopting the sideways org chart or looking at it or borrowing from it, or maybe you're here as part of the entire RISK Agile Framework and this is part of the overall kit, it's okay. You can start just here. And the pressures that will be created, the kinds of changes and the ways that will force maturity and move us into a more learned and evolutionary posture, so good. And you could take a sideways org chart and maybe just attach the idea of the communities of practice and the guild of guilds, and those two things, this beautiful pond system of places that crafters and delivery agents and customer delighters, whatever your business is into for software, right? Your QA folks go find each other, and your designers find each other, and your developers find each other, and they find a more organized approach to what the business has always been touting. Oh, you have a 10% education budget or a continuous improvement budget or a CI budget. This fits in the scope of a budget you already have, working with people you already have. They get to stay where they already are. You can work with thousands of people or dozens, whatever the size of your organization. So borrow a little, borrow a lot, take the entire kit and just run it for 6 weeks. That's kind of the whole premise. But let's take a look at this sideways org chart. The clearly different symbols, different things going on, and also clearly very early, pre-release. We are pre-release, we are beta testing, and working feverishly to practice how we translate what we've been doing for a long time into something that might be consumable if we're not just there drawing on the wall and building this thing with you, right? So ultimately, this is the end. We've skipped to the end. Your organization, when you look at it, those of you that are in engineering almost to any capacity, you might identify this as a microservice architecture. And we have some very specific sort of behaviors that are being exhibited by the system so that it can work together. And we're also, it's of interest or of good note, we're in third gear here. So it suggests a scale somewhere between 25 and 125 people. And as you grow and as that scale grows and as you take on additional lines of business, et cetera, so on and so forth, all the way up through portfolio management, something that, anyway, you don't want to do this with an org chart. It's very multidimensional. All right, so let's start up there, portfolio and lines of business. And so bringing a very clean definition to words that maybe we've seen in software or we've used in literature or language, and they don't always mean the same things to everyone. So there's a clear cleanup of language and definition as you go through and approach it from that sort of game framework standpoint. We just got to pick our role. Let me study my role a little bit. Let me figure out what I'm here to ultimately solve for and how I can best do that and who are my teammates. And it's fantastic that way. So in the portfolio, or in this lines of business, it doesn't mean that as a business owner, as an executive, you have to literally separate these into different corporate structures or LLCs, though it often works out that you would tuck them into different LLCs, because at some point, if it became the right thing to do, these are clean divisions of your business. Some could be more profitable than others. Some represent longer term risk and investment. Some have different customers lists attached to them. And if you would keep in your mind, and anytime you talk about a portfolio view, what you're really talking about is such different parts of this business that we could probably sell this one off. The others could keep running, just fine, or in cooperation with that sell-off. And that may be a wise thing to do, or replace it with something else, or do something different, right? So at the highest level, it is componentized. Now, you move down, and we see within a given line of business, we have this idea of delivering. At the top, we have product and product teams that touch markets and are proxies in most cases for markets, and curators and servants to the idea of user personification, and experts and trendsetters at conferences and trade shows and marketplace. This is the money side of the business. And the product organization broke also into teams, component teams, serving teams in their own right, also serving markets, also serving the business. They are fit here and deployed by the business. Now, you won't see much turnover. You don't generally see a lot of turnover in how the business would choose to deploy teams within the product organization. But within a given team, you definitely see cross-play and collaboration, and going with, and swarming, and the entire behaviors teams exhibit. And so the product team has deployed into this particular line of business one or two or three of the delivery teams that have those capabilities. And there is a cooperative moment that is clearly defined in the game, where the work and these ideas and the needs and the bugs and the on and on and on are brought through and groomed down and baked down and built out in such a way that then the delivery teams and their representation and themselves can pull in neat, nice, neat, clean ways out of that channel, that funnel, the amazing, most important work to do next. And it's oversimplified here. I won't try to go teach other parts of the system that make all of this make the most sense. But there you go. So this idea of a delivery team is a cross-functional group of people operating as a perpetual startup company within the protection and provision of the larger organization body. It is a delivery team that is behaving as a combined unit of one to the delight of their customer, with the help, provision, and guidance, and often tutelage of their product organization team, their product team. And then each of these are orchestrated. There's a nice beat. There's several beats, but they're all in rhythm with each other, where it's like ta 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 ta. And then we see coming out of those, each of those groups, even slices of delivered valuable work, potentially shippable, done, or knowledge. Often, sometimes spikes and things are, the goal sometimes is learning and knowledge, etc. But each of these is clean and clear and of equal time measure, and delivered and described in a similar way, all connected here to delivering. Now, in gear 3, wonderfully or painfully, we find that, like, the C-level organization, maybe the CEO, the innovator that started it all, if they're still around, who used to live like way right out here with the market and this one tiny thing, and then got pushed into this layer, and then got kind of pushed over here, is now way out here. And so there's this distance that has grown between the C-level suites, especially the executive side and the operational side, that they now serve the business services organization that is comprised of component teams that serve the delivery organization, that is comprised of teams that serve the marketplace. And so honoring that sort of space and distance, and knowing that's what third gear looks like, right? And that's what happens, depending mostly on how many people you have in able to and attempting to collaborate around delighting a marketplace and building a book of business. All right. So we have these delivery teams. They're getting their work. They're doing their things. They're delighting the world. Markets are delighted. Product owner groups delighted. We have a lot of needs within our daily execution that we do not want to have on our team. Our team is here to help delight the customer in some way. We're managing this area of the commercial retail space, and we're handling this much stock and inventory, and we're talking to our people, and we're doing this, that, and the other. Like, they have this much going on, but they don't really want to worry about paychecks and payroll and insurance and on and on and on and on. There's so many things they're going to be so grateful that the business has developed the risk organization. Scrum organization can get you pretty far, but they've developed this risk organization that is hosting not just the communities of practice and creating these curated places for craftsmanship to rule and relationships to form, and helping to host and execute and play referee to this operational context, how this whole thing kind of, the beat and how it all comes together, and refereeing the game all the way at the littlest moments on a Tuesday out to the biggest moments, maybe on a monthly or quarterly. But they're also representing, and being part of what it takes to do all of those things that a startup company. Oh my goodness, can you believe the likelihood of fantastic joy and longevity and outcomes when not only do you get to do the things you love with people you enjoy, always seeing a fantastic done state, permission to build and do things correctly, going faster than competition, and then we have these full-time paid coaches mingled in with other kinds of organizational servants that are running around just talking about, hey, you little beautiful startup company, what can we get for you? What do you need? How's it going? Hey, product owners, how are we doing? How's this funnel look? How are we playing the game? How can we go faster, better, safer, with more joy? Hey, marketplace, do we think we know what we think we know that we know we think we know? Hey, user personas, how you doing? Are you meetable? Are you knowable? Can I fall in love with you? Can I honor personification? Can I look at the product? Can I ask the product questions, and the product can say, I hurt this way and I feel good this way and I hope to be here and I hope to do this. So I'm hopeful that in that overview you can start to see and taste and feel how we could use this as an empty scorecard or a template to be filled out. And often I do. We carry it around and we find ourselves in the map and the roles that are available and that we're interested in playing, and it's part of self-organizing into a large-sized, highly successful or likely to be successful series of experiments, pilots, or full company transformations. The focus is people first, it's curiosity first, remote first, and it's built on so many foundational understandings on the emotional side of human work and collaboration and team dynamics, to the craft and culture, to get everyone to stop inventing and freestyling organizational operations. Stop on the inside coming up with how we should lead and manage and all of these things that have become a thing on themselves. It's so distracting. Help everyone find the right place and play the same game and share the same words and definitions. And very quickly we just get back to facing externally, delighting our markets, and measuring the things that actually matter instead of the things that keep us also very distracted. And by pairing this with the RISK Agile Framework, you have a complete answer. You have something you can just begin on Monday. Whether it's a pilot to take a nice 7% or 10% of the organization and begin this effort, or whether you have a burning platform or a new situation or the perfect opportunity to just do it. What? You're going to reorg soon anyway. It tends to be your way. Why not reorg into something useful? I'll see you on the other side. Happy sideways org charting to you. Have an amazing rest of your day. Cheers. Bye-bye.